All right, let's continue. Welcome back to everyone, also those who are online. Are we on? Yeah. Okay, so today is the final day for radio. It's the first day for video. And so we are... Even Claude wants to do 50 now. Do you still have a sweet? Then you, oh, was that sweet back? Do you have a sweet?
No, I have some water.
You have what?
I have some water.
No, we want. You have to pay us.
I can offer you a glass of water.
No, I want either 2 push-ups or a sweet.
Not that one, huh?
Not that one? You want to be cheap with me? Okay, I like that one. Thank you. What are you giving me? I don't want water. It's too healthy. Me, I am too. But you get nice things that are healthy too. What? You're the green one. Yeah, we are the same. We are green. I know. But it means our sweets are healthy too. Okay. So we are now talking about script writing for the radio participants, but then for the video ones, of course, the script writing is the same. It's the same with some differences, and we will point out what the differences are. However, it is not all there is to writing a script is writing. It's not the writing only. Sorry? We're not on the line? Online? Are we not?
We're not live.
Live? Okay, so we said already that communication is not an art. It's not an art to communicate. Anybody can do it, but it's an art to do it effectively. There are things all of us can communicate, but to do it effectively, there are skills we need to learn. Refresh or something. Right. We said communication consists of vocabulary. What is vocabulary? It's the words that we use either to speak or to write. Aren't you glad you said that? So we've said that vocabulary comprises what percentage of communication? Vocabulary. So words comprise what percentage of vocabulary? Vocabulary, and then there's voice inflection, and there is body language. Okay, And the question is, what is the percentage that vocabulary comprises? In any communication, the words comprise. She is saying vocabulary could be 45 because body language, she says, is 55. Any more guesses? It's wrong. Any more guesses? No? No? It's only, so the words. Yeah. There are thousands of words, but they only comprise 7% of our communication. That's right. Well done. You would get the last one. Yeah, 7% of our communication is words. Because the body language is 55 and the inflection is 38. It doesn't add up to 100. That's the problem. 55 and 38. No, it doesn't. 8, 9. Yes, that's right. It is actually. 8 and 5 is 13 plus 7 and those two. Okay. So 7% the words. That is why we cannot think that we're doing a script writing course and we focus on script writing all the time, because the words really is only 7%. The voice is 38%, so make sure that while you have only words, that song says words are all I have. So words are all we have. So that is why we have to pour inflection for the voices that are going to read it into the words by underlining or giving instructions or thinking for the person who has to execute your script. And the body language is what we don't have. So we have to make up for 55% of the communication on the radio. In video, we have that body language. So it is an enormous thing about communication. So the thing with video scripts to remember about body language is that without any words, you are conveying a message. You are not conveying no message because you are standing there. On the radio, you are not communicating anything if you are quiet. That's because you have the ear. So if you're not putting anything into the ear, there's no communication. That's not the case on video, with a video lesson. Inflection. Yeah. Inflection or intonation. Good morning. What are you doing here?
It's one of my colleagues. He's been drawing for us for a while.
Okay. 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 What is your name? What is your name, sir? Sorry? Niklas, welcome. So be aware that in a video script, a person who is just standing there and not doing anything is saying very much. He is saying a lot, and we can learn more than half from his body language than what he wants to say. He doesn't want to communicate at all, but he's telling us a lot of things by standing there, by the way he looks, by the way he dresses, by the way he speaks, by the way he does not speak, by his hair, by his face, and a lot of things. So this is where we need to know that it can be conflicting, even the body language can conflict the words. So we have to be aware of all this. So if we are writing a radio script, it is not the same as writing a video script. So when you are writing a radio script, you have to know that you have to pour everything into the words. You have to pour the 55% and the 38% into the 7%, because you have to make up for all that. I told you it is more effort than it is with video. With video, it's just an awareness that things are there on the screen. And they all help each other, but they can also hinder each other. They are competing there on the screen for attention. And the viewer is watching and is learning things with all this input that is being given. Now there's sound, there's visuals, there's still also there's dialogue. There's a lot going on there, and they can very easily compete with the message that you're trying to give. At least the radio message is one directional. They have nothing else than what you give them. So it can be like your baby, that you are making sure that he gets only healthy food because you are the only one feeding them. With video, it's different. There are so many distractions. There's so many, even if it's only you putting that video on there, there is no way there can be a spelling mistake. There's no way there can be too many words on the screen, because then you get them nothing. Because it's too fast to learn, or it's too small to learn. And you cannot give contradictory messages. You cannot give contradictory sounds. There's a lot that's going on there. So whereas in a radio script, you have to give more in order to make the message complete. With a video script, it is the opposite. You have to sift. You have to simplify until the message that you are giving in your script is the absolutely pure message that you want to give there. Still entertaining, all that, but don't do too much. So in terms of, yeah.
A question?
Question?
Yes.
Oh,
question.
Okay.
So, as you say, for radio, we need to show. No, it's not there. It's my question.
No, I'm just
Okay,
sorry.
I was just summarizing for the rest. It's still going to join. They can see what you talked about.
All right.
So you say that we need to show.
Yeah.
Now in radio, one way to show is by using examples, is by using your voice inflection. If we think in terms of words or text, how can we show? Is it maybe possible through the use of describing words, like the use of adjectives? Do you have any guidance there? So it's also to bring out a feeling or what in the normal statement?
Yes, absolutely. I don't want to sound like the Jehovah's Witnesses, they are saying, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they say that question belongs now to lesson 3. They do. So we are going to talk about the script writing itself and the words after lunch. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah. Yeah. So we have seen that we have a dilemma in listening. What was that dilemma? Can you remember the dilemma of listening? The dilemma of listening. You don't remember, Renate? No. The dilemma of listening was that we speak at 1,000 words per minute, and we hear the other way around. We speak 350 words per minute, and we hear 1,000 words per minute. That was the listening dilemma. Okay, that was in a lesson where you were not yet here. So, and the why it is a dilemma is that we speak actually very slow, and especially, and even more so when we read from a script. That is why it's easily boring. We try to read, and the listeners are, and that is why it's easier to have music going under the voice here on radio. But the same problem comes when you have to read from a screen. You have to find ways to make it funky. So your graphics on the TV screen is very important. There's in case I forget to specify, I've looked at some of the videos, and we will look at as well. But remember the 6x6 rule. What is the 6x6 rule on a video script? What is the 6x6 rule? Six by six rule. No? No offers for the 6x6 rule? It's because there's no reward for the 6x6 rule. Very nice reward. 6x6 rule means that on the screen you should have no more than 6 lines at a time, and in the line no more than 6 words. Yeah, that is what the human eye and mind can cope with. 6 words in a line, 6 lines, no more. Not a whole paragraph. Condense it, condense it, condense it until you have 6 words maximum in a line and 6 bullet points, 6 rows. Okay. It is hard. Okay, and okay. So giving credit to the human eye, the eye can actually, if you have it like that, and it's in a big enough font and so on, then the person can easily read it, and you don't have to leave it on the screen for a long time, because that's also painful to watch. Like, okay, I got it. So there is a balance. So, have you noticed that if I look from this side to that side, you don't, like a camera you pan, the camera pans, but it's very hard to look at. Have you seen it in a video or in a movie? You cannot bear to really have a pan right around. It's too hard for the mind to do. Why? Because the eye doesn't naturally do it. Feel what your eyes do. You start here, you're going to end there. So you start like this, look like this. Feel what your eyes doing. It stops there, it stops there, it stops there, it stops there. Do it, do it, do it quickly and see if you see it. I can even see it in your eyes. No? You start here, you stop, you stop, you stop. You basically focus, you focus, you focus, you focus, you focus. Okay. Okay. So we have to work with our natural ability so that when they do a pan with a camera, the rule is like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like on a shot, you have like 1, 2, 3, 4. You change the shot 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the amount of time that it basically takes for your brain and your eyes to register a picture. I'm seeing it, okay, now I'm seeing that, I'm looking further, I'm seeing that. So it's more or less 4 seconds. So, so that when they are panning as well, they pan for 4 seconds. So you have your establishing shot. I'm just telling you this because when you construct the picture, also that you know how it works. So you start your establishing shot. I'm going to start here. I have this picture. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of that they're going to cut off. They're not going to start with a static 4 seconds. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it is a pan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stand. And then you continue. So you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. Quiet for maybe 2 seconds. They are using those 2 seconds to cut a little bit at the end in editing. And then you start, you have again your 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you move on 1, 2, 3, 4. Like in the field or in a building, in a city with the buildings there. Okay. So when you have these words on the screen, remember that you are wanting people to read the detail. So you as the writer, you provide 6 words per line, 6 lines, and make clear bullets so that the brain registers these are points. Point 1 is this, point 2, point 3, point 4. But remember that whereas with radio, you could mention it and they've got it. Now, it helps if you speak those words, exactly the same words. So if you are saying, you're talking about let's say, I don't know, the bone structure or whatever. Really? The bone structure? It's a parts of a fish. What? Parts of the fish. Okay. I don't know the parts of the fish, but yeah, we'll work it out. Okay, so you have the scales. Yeah, we have scales. We have fins. Fins. And what? Head. Head? No, but it consists of fish and scales. And what else? Gills, yeah, that's a good one. Gills and... Yeah, but then we could have the head also. Okay, the head. Let's say. Okay, so sometimes numbering is complicated. Why? Because you are wondering how many more are there, and you're wondering, should I remember it in this order? So you only put the numbers if the order is important. Yeah? If the order is not important, it's better to use bullets, okay? Because if it follows logically and you want to register it like that in the brain, then you put the numbers. Otherwise, bullets are fine. So, skills made of what? Something, 2 fins, is it 2? 2 fins with whatever, something. Gills to breathe, and head with eyes and mouth. Okay. So words accumulate very fast. So here already we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are saying a very basic thing, but it's already 5. So 1 more and you were struck. So now in presenting this, you could say the parts of the fish, we have scales made of what? So we have added some words in the same, but we have added something that is not distracting from the message because they can still follow you. We have scales made of what? So what you are saying should not contradict and detract at all from what they are seeing on the screen. Okay. So we can leave that there for now. Just to say that as we have spoken about the listening, it is hard to listen because we listen, the words are at a slow rate, and it is maybe, especially if it's not very interesting. I mean, we know that with a movie, there is a lot that goes past us. We don't focus on every word they say. We don't remember or understand even all of what is happening there. We just later on say, oh, okay, this meant that this, it is a story, it sort of flows. But it's not at all as though we remember every word. And but in a video and a radio script, every word is precious stuff. We want them to understand it, we want to hear it, we want them to remember it. Okay. There are some things we can do to stay more focused. Focused, attention, concentration. So there's some things we can do to stay more focused on a message. If we know those things, we can help our learners to stay focused on our message. These things are: somebody is talking. How can you stay? How can you remember what they're saying? You can concentrate and focus on what the person is saying. You focus on their voice reflection, their rate of speech, and their body language. When a person is talking, like I'm sure that is what you are doing when I'm talking. Somewhere you register my voice inflection. You register my body language. The rate at which I'm speaking. So when I go faster or harder, you know something is changing there. So all those things help you to get the message of what I'm trying to say. So we reverse that now. You are now the one giving that information to the learner. So be aware of whether it's radio or whether it's a video script. Be aware of the rate at which you speak. Should not be too fast, should not be too slow, really. Both of them very equally important. The body language that is there. So that is something for the director maybe and the camera person to be aware of, to guide these people, to say, you know what, your tie is skew. So can we just make it right before we continue, because everybody is going to think his tie is askew, his tie is askew. You cannot concentrate, you cannot learn, because you cannot focus, because that has to be fixed before it continues. I have a daughter who is sort of, she didn't crawl. Apparently you have to do 50,000 crawls before you can be, before you go to school. Yeah, then it's the cross lines and whatever in the brain and what, and yeah, so it's very important. So of course I've had to take her to this educational psychologist and all that, and they say that the brain is just like that. You have to complete step 1 before you go to 2. So, and it doesn't matter whether you are 50 or 31 years old, if the brain is not satisfied that you have mastered the step 1 in basic development, it cannot continue. You have to do this. So, yeah, so you have to crawl, and then you have to sit, or does it go the other way around? I can't remember. You sit first, then you have to crawl, then you get up, and then you continue on like that. Yeah. So let us not have any barriers in the learning, so that we can take them really step by step by step, because there's many other enemies there that come and steal the seed away that was sown there. So you are trying to focus on your garden that you are growing, but be aware the distractions are many. Okay. So, as far as you are concerned, know that the listeners will take note of the voice inflections, of the rate of speech, of the body language. So make sure that it does not become a barrier in listening and getting the message. When you are speaking to somebody, when you are listening to somebody, avoid thinking of other things, or avoid thinking of the next thing you are going to say. So, because then you don't really listen. So the other way around also. Know that while you are talking to them, especially with a radio script, while you are talking with them, they are already thinking of the next thing. They are already distracted. Yeah? The enemies are many. So you have to be so, I told you, like my palm tree son, whom I have to entertain all the time. I don't do it so much, as much as I have to. But that is what you need to entertain these people and keep them entertained, because it's your job to help them understand the lesson. When I was in this course in Holland, we did an exercise where you had to find 5 pictures. So there was on the floor a lot of pictures, and you had to select 5 pictures, and then you had to stand in front of the class, and you had all the pictures like that, and you had to tell the story like you are a video. You are in a video, okay? So you would show the picture and speak the line that's this, you put it to the back, to the back, to the back, until basically in 5 pictures you have told them the story. It was that kind of exercise. And so of course it's a wide range of different pictures there. So I was just, I found there a picture of Lady Di and the Prince Charles, who was sitting like turning away from each other, and there was a golden egg there, and there was I can't even remember all the stories, but the story I was kind of trying to tell was that if you you would hide this, and this to protect this. So I was saying you would hide this, so it was like the two people fighting, and it was, I think, a thief stealing, and it was a person who was poor, and I don't know, different things that were actually negative images. So you would hide all this to protect this. This was now the golden egg there. So people often don't want others to know their bad things because they want to appear glitzy and gold and what. But yeah, I thought it was very clever. Just the way I worked it out, I thought it was quite clever. And I will never forget. There was a girl there from Trinidad and Tobago, she was. And she said, Lynette, just tell me like you would a 2-year-old. What are you trying to say? And it was such a lesson. I'll never forget it. I thought I was too clever, but if my audience does not get my message, they are not stupid, I am. Because it's my job to make sure that they get the message. And that is something that for any script writer is very important. It is our job to make sure that there are minimal distractions, that there are minimal confusion. We are the educator, we are the communicator. So it is our job to make sure that they get the message. Okay. There are no stupid learners, just teachers. Just lazy teachers, let's say, lazy teachers. Another thing, of course, that is the same point, is when we are listening to somebody, it's important that we do not interrupt. Now, when you are writing the script, be aware that other things are interrupting that person. So hold him. Think of those 10 seconds. He's in the 10 seconds. You want to hold him. You do not want those 10 seconds to go away. Okay? So do not interrupt your exciting, spicy, clear, simple, wonderful message that you are giving. Okay, you have given your, So another thing that helps us in getting a message is the paraphrasing. So if a person can just at the end of the day paraphrase so he's explained the whole thing, but it's a wonderful ability if you can just take it together, paraphrase, so summarize, in our case, 3 or 4 sentences what you have said. So paraphrasing means like repeating in a summarized way. The other thing, that's important when we're listening to somebody, is we are very aware of their body language. So make sure that your body language does not contradict the message, either with a video program or with a radio program. Okay. Be aware of what constitutes non-verbal language and body language. It is from the clothes to the face, to how the face is like arranged, to the hair, to everything, and that you are giving a message without intentionally wanting to. Okay. So repeat the message to help. Repeating the message helps you to remember it. While we are repeating, the person, we are making sure that the person heard it the first time. Okay? And the person is correcting himself that, no, I heard wrong. It wasn't 4 that he said, it was 14. Or it wasn't 40, it was 14. Okay? So repeating helps them to correct the message and to hear it again to make sure of the facts. Now, if you are listening and you don't get it, you can probe. What is the meaning of probe? Meaning of probe? What is the meaning of probe? It means like asking for more. So when you say that you cannot remember, do you mean anything? So it's how you probe for more details. Okay, that is the problem we are having, both with video and with radio. The audience cannot probe. If they don't get you, there's no way for them to probe. Sometimes we are thinking, we're listening to a program or watching a program, and we are thinking, I'd really like more information about this. And you make a mental note. I'm going to call that person. But in 90% of the time, later on you think, it's not that important. Or, it's fine. Or you forget about it at all. Okay? So it is better to be in advance of that probing, to think about, to give all the information so that, or enough information so that people would not feel left out by, or disappointed that they can't probe and that you didn't give it to them. Okay. Clarity is very important because, again, in a face-to-face conversation, you can ask for clarification and the person can clarify. But with a long-distance thing like this, they cannot, they can ask for more information later, but it's better if you give that clarity before. Clarity means the words have to be spoken clearly. Okay? So, like some people, you have to ask them, imagine there's a ball in your mouth, make it round. Okay? Because, some people are just not meant to speak on the radio or something. They just don't come across clearly. So think of all those things as well. So also remember that when you are trying to get a message, do not jump to conclusions. Do not answer with advice unless asked. So those are, and do not lose your temper and do not give a response. Do give a response when a person is done. It's very frustrating to speak to somebody who does not then respond. Okay, so the reason why I'm so going on about dementia is actually my mother. She has dementia, so I've learned a lot about people with dementia. But I find it fascinating also. But when she was younger, when we were children, she was a terror. She was a terror. But of course now I remember this, but she doesn't. But okay. But I remember clearly. I was telling my children the other day, because sometimes we're driving in the car and I'm telling them things and I think, this should be very interesting to them, but they don't respond. And I told them, my mother was once, I was working with something, and she was also doing something, and she was talking. And then she said, okay, I'm going to say it in Afrikaans first, because it's so imprinted in my mind. She said, of hoe sê jy, asbakkie, ons twee gesels mos so lekker. So she was frustrated that I did not respond to her. She said, "Oh, what am I saying? A little ashtray. The two of us are having such a nice conversation." Okay. So it's the ashtray, yeah, apparently, because I'm as quiet as the ashtray. So yeah. So it is really frustrating when we don't, when we can't get response out of a person. But of course, we can't have response from our audience on radio or on video. But remember that when you have a situation like that, you are creating real life situations in your programs. So remember that the other person has to respond to what one is saying, if only it is to make it natural. Just even if you say, doesn't matter. It's a response, just to make it humanly natural, that they can, and therefore believable. Okay. So can you share with us some of your own listening tips or your own communication tips? Because I'm sure you had situations like that as well. I'm not the only one with a crazy life, I know that. Tell me about communication barriers and how you overcome them.
When I worked at the Egyptian embassy.
Mike. Thank you.
Right there. Right there.
Who?
Risto.
Risto!
Risto is what is it? When I work,
You were praying. This is not the time to pray.
okay. What is it? One of my communication barriers I experienced is when I was working at the Egyptian embassy. Only the diplomats could speak English, but the other workers were only speaking Arabic, and I couldn't speak Arabic. So I figured I used Google Translate to communicate with them. So I would type whatever, or I would speak into Google Translate to whatever I said, and it would translate it to them, and they would do the same thing.
Okay. That is a very helpful tool we have these days of using, but Google Translate also has a problem. I will share you the most recent thing we had in our house. Whereas my daughter has these developmental issues, which then follow her to school, my boy is very clever. And so he was in the newspaper on Friday with the top performers. His name is Alexander. And he was very frustrated because, for some reason, because it was in the Afrikaans paper, Republican. But for some reason, I was married to this English man, so his surname is Russell. So somehow they decided that he was also English speaking. So I mean, really, an Afrikaans girl like me, will I raise my children to be English? No. So, but they just assumed that he was English speaking. So they called him and they spoke to him in English and they said, "Could you write down your recipe for academic success?" So, of course, he had to respond by, he sent a picture of himself and he had to say so he responded in English as well, because he thought it's an English thing. So he said, "No, and then I said, "What's your plans for the future?" And he said, "No, I'm taking a gap year and I'm going to focus on improving my maths," because he had maths on literacy level. "I'm going to improve my maths and do some other computer language courses while I prepare for my university application." while I prepare for my university, for some my university applications, he said. And do you believe, in this age, this boy, this man, at the Afrikaans newspaper, having spoken English to him on the phone and asking him to prepare something in English, then Google translates that. So it says, now it comes out to, and now he's like in shame. Mama, look at all these other, they sound so clever. Because they wrote in Afrikaans, they even used colorful language. Now I was writing my thing in English, I was thinking so carefully what I say, but now it's all messed up with this translation because now they say, while I prepare my, that's the sentence that bothered him. While I prepare my university applications, which now is directly translated in Afrikaans, you can imagine application in Afrikaans is an aansoek. But application is also in Afrikaans a toepassing. So that's the one he chooses. Terwyl ek my universiteit toepassings voorberei. Now it's like, Mama, they're going to think, is this boy clever? Or is he crazy? What is he trying to say? So this now, he takes it so personal because it reflects now directly on him and he was supposed to sound clever and now, So that's a problem with Google translating. It's there's different ways, different words, and they can choose the wrong word. There's never stand totally still, letting the audience have to follow you keeps their concentration a bit better. Okay. Sorry? Yeah, with video. Okay. Yeah, so, she's saying, if you stand absolutely still, people also become bored with it. Yeah, so if a bit of movement helps. Yeah. I haven't rewarded you yet. You are the first recipient of a chocolate coin. Yeah. Yeah, so I want more advice with regards to communication barriers and how to overcome them.
Adding on what Nguri said, with working with other foreign nationals and not understanding each other, I think body language comes into hand a lot of times.
Yeah.
Since sometimes, like you said, Google Translate doesn't work, you'll have to work on body language to show the other person what you're trying to say.
Yeah, that's true. It can do so much. What was this? There was a program that ran for Dallas. It was not Dallas. It was Dallas, and there was another one that ran forever and ever and ever from American TV. No, not that one even. No, you guys are too young. No, it was something with grape farming and what? I don't know, but let's say now Dallas. It was about grape farming. And years ago, I'm almost the green girl as well, so I did environmental reporting always. And years ago, there was this Spanish fisherman who stole our fish. And at the time, we were still very much assertive as a country, and they went for them, and yeah. But in the process, at the time, I was studying, distance studying actually, while I was at NBC. I studied political science. But so I did Spanish also as part of that. But of course, learning a language from distance, it's very hard. But this fisherman was Spanish. So yeah, at some point we were there in Luderitz. They were there. They were under house arrest on their boats, actually. So, but it was Christmas time, and they invited us for a meal actually on the boat. So those are the nice experiences that you have as a journalist. So we were there on this boat, and these guys can drink, huh? They drink. But they told us it is important for them to drink alcohol because it's very, very, very cold, and sometimes at sea as well. So they put alcohol in their coffee in the morning to warm up. Yeah, but they were talking about. They were saying that many of them have grape lands. Oh my goodness! And they were trying to show us grape. We just couldn't get it. Grape. But they didn't have the English word, and of course, huevos. It just didn't make any sense. And then suddenly one of them said, Dallas. And then everybody knew, oh, Dallas is about these grape farmers or whatever, if it was Dallas. So then suddenly everybody knew. Not me, I didn't know Dallas. But then, like, everybody knew, oh, yes, Dallas. So they were talking about grape farms. So associations like that help a lot as well. Okay, so to write an effective script, we have to make sure that information is not confusing. It's very important that listeners are not distracted by contradictory information, that there is, very important, we have not spoken about this yet, that there is no prejudgment in the information. If your viewers and your listeners find out that you are extremely racist, or you you have been convicted of theft or whatever it is, some repulsive something about you, they cannot learn from you. That thing will always be in the way, because you have to respect the one you learn from. Yeah. So that is why they say in a conversation, don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics, because you don't know who there has extreme views. It's just that you can win over anybody, but focus on what you have in common with them and not what divides you. I have a very good friend in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, and he told me that Julius Nyerere, you know, he's been dead now for many years, but he was such a pivotal leader of that country. Because he was unifying the nation. In everything he did, he unified them. So that today they have still a day, Nyerere Day. And on that day, on the radio, they play his speeches over and over. They just love and adore that man now, so many years still after his death. And I said, what is it about the man? And he said, he said, you don't focus, he says it's a natural thing for people to point out the differences between us. You would say, with women it's like this, with men it's like this. You have made a dividing line. Or you say, with us in our church it's like this, in that faith it's like that. You are cutting out, until you are like alone over on your island. You might say, oh, those ones with those marks, and this one with those marks, and this one with this color, or this one with that language. There's always something that can divide people. And it's never has positive outcomes, because that group that you are cutting out, there were so many potential friends there. There were so many people there that were maybe cleverer than you. There were so many people there that would have liked you, who would have done so well, but you've put them off now. So that is a Julius Nyerere lesson. He always said, we don't focus on what divides us. We only focus on what binds us. So that is something to be just aware of, that sometimes in your scripts, there was a time when the writers really focused a lot on church things. That is fine, as far as it is the values that you focus on, because actually the values that go with church going are the same. Okay, it's values of respect, of obedience to parents, of love for God, those kind of values. That's fine. We can have that in the script as long as it doesn't get preachy. But be very careful of saying it is this church, or it is. I remember that there was a script where they said something about Maria, something, I can't remember now exactly what the whole thing about the Holy Mother or something like that. And it gets complicated for somebody who is not of the Catholic faith, let's say. They cannot deal with that. So you don't want that lesson to go to waste to all those who are or are not, or have strong views about that. So it's important to think general. You want to appeal. Yes, you have to know your audience. Your audience are school-going children and young people. Okay, so yes, you want to instill good values in them, but be always aware whether you are creating a dividing line or you are unifying. Okay. So that's about prejudgment. Be very careful, especially if you yourself have strong views about something. Words are extremely powerful. You can say anything in a nice way. You can say anything in a nice way. So be careful. The information should not be monotonous, so because people can tune out easily. I'd love a chocolate coin too. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. So would I actually. We're referring to Falcon Crest. That's right. Yeah. Thanks, Marianine. And that's what it was. It wasn't Dallas. Okay. Falcon Crest. No, it was in the time of Dallas and all that. It was Falcon Crest. That's right. Oh, it's a bit scary. The whole world out there knows all my secrets about my family. Yeah. So, the information should be interesting so that people don't tune out. And be aware of the correct nonverbal clues to support your message. And sometimes it's inevitable that you have to list things, or you have to tell a story or something, like in history and things like that. So that is where music helps, whether it's on radio and whether it's on video. To have instrumental music below the voice really helps to digest those words, because it is hard to listen to, and especially these days, if it's not a person that's being burnt out or something, you just tune out and go to the next picture on your WhatsApp, right? So we are so used to getting shocked, and so if it's not really, you want me to listen for 15 minutes to you talking, so it is a privilege to have people's attention these days. So yeah, don't let them tune out. Yeah, can you remember what is the problem with long-distance educational videos and radio programs? What is the communication problem there? Okay, clue? What is the problem we're having? Can you remember what is the problem? The big problem we're having that we cannot solve with radio and video programs? That's what I'm looking for. It's one-way communication, no feedback. It's one-way communication, there's no feedback. That's a big problem. So you have to anticipate what the other person will want to ask. And another way of dealing with the lack of feedback is that you build it into a scenario where you have someone and he's responding in the way that those out there would have wanted to respond. So you are creating as they say, the voice of the little people. So you think about what it would have been that they would have wanted to ask you. So you build it into a little thing. And these things need not take a lot of time and a lot of speaking, just sometimes a sound or a grunt or something. Okay. Now, we are really getting, let me just see before we go to this. Yeah. We are now getting really to the script writing things. So there are different processes in the process, different steps in the process of script writing or script development or program development. The script writing is there. We know it is the core, the beginning, and the end. It is you are the architect. You are the one who is who has the blueprint. Nobody else has it like you have it. They are going to try and improve it. They are going to try and execute it, but it comes from your brain. So, well done. You have a very important job there. After that is the content will be checked. So the content checker, can you explain us what the content checker is doing?
Okay, in our process, the role of the content reviewer or content editor, which should also be a subject expert, they are basically just going to look at the factual correctness of the content. Nothing about the conversational style or what. They look at the correctness of the content.
In terms of the syllabus, so they are looking whether it's in line with the syllabus.
In line with the syllabus, in line with the learning objective, in line with the assessment objective, and then whether what you've put there is correct. You know, the way you phrase it. So when we are talking about a word economy, minimize your words, shorten it, because what you will see on the screen, as you've explained to us, 6x6 rules. So the writer will go maybe and try to reduce the sentences and the statements and stuff. So it's very important that the content review or peer reviewer looked at the way you have put it there. Does it really say the same thing? Does it really bring the correct message over? That's what it said.
Thank you. Okay, so there are those supports that help you, so that if you make a mistake, it's not detrimental, it's not terrible, it's fine. There are others who are there who are going to make sure that your content is all right, because these days things that go on the air, if you make a mistake, it can go to court, it can become very, very serious. So we do not want inaccurate things. So that's why it's good that there are these supports built into the whole process. There's the content editors checking that the content is all right. There's from there also the script editing. Editors will now look at your language, will try to simplify. They are looking from outside again. Like Mims is saying, the content editor does not look at how you present the content, but whether the content that you present is accurate. Now the script writer, the script editor does not change the content, but try to make sure that the content is simplified and grammatically correct. So the main job of the script editor then is to simplify your script, to make sure that it's digestible to your audience and that it's simple. Also basically looking at grammar and spelling and presentation.
Should I also talk about the other steps?
Yes.
So yes, the usual way that we've done it, but we can still decide on it. You have the content writer, you have the content reviewer looking at the correctness of the content. Now it goes to the script editor, and the script editor will now make your script more radio, video, compatible, presentable, but still ensuring that the same message will go out that you intend to. In addition, we also make use of the language editors, and believe it or not, it is really important because mostly is punctuation and spelling.
Here.
Language editor, from what we see, a lot of punctuation and spelling errors is always popping up, even though your script or the writings come through a process. So the language editor will look at that. Then it will go for digital editing. On approval of, in Namcol's case, the specific subject program developer is involved in basically coordinating this whole process.
So what do you mean by digital editing?
So now it goes from the Namcol or the person responsible at Namcol now, or maybe at NIET, or if it's from an institution. They will now decide, right, this script is now ready. It went through all the process. It will go for recording and digital editing at our education broadcast studio.
So that is what you mean with this?
The recording, I should have said recording, and then the editing. Yeah, recording first and then the editing, which is now Claude's job. Recording as well as editing for radio.
Okay. So Claude's going to do all that.
All the radios. Yeah, the recording has been done in the studio. Afterwards, the process will go back to the subject program developer and the specific content writer for the quality review of the digital radio or the lesson, the radio, the clip now.
So you were saying the subject program developer or?
The subject the subject PD and the content writer.
Okay, these guys.
Yeah. They will do the final quality review and check and verify the correctness and sign it off. Then it will be made available for broadcast or being uploaded on the channel, YouTube channel.
Okay, can I take you back to here? So it comes back, were you saying to them and to them or?
It will go from the studio, from Claude, it will go to the Namcol program developer.
Okay.
And the program developer is the one that is coordinating the process with his part-time team for the content writers.
So Claude edits it, he sends it to you, you review it.
Yes.
Basically the final product.
Yeah, and verify the. It will depend on the program developer whether they send it out to the content writer or whether they listen to or watch the videos themselves or they listen to the radios. But the one that will sign it off for us to know this program is ready for broadcast or for upload, it's the responsibility of the program developer.
Okay, that is the final final approval.
Yeah.
What would be the purpose of sending it back to the content writer?
Just also listen to the way that, remember, the editing, the recording has been done by people identified by the program developer. We aim to work with subject knowledgeable people, not necessarily that you teach the subject, but in my mind, I always look at this person need to have a knowledge of the subject that he or she is going to present, whether it's for radio or video, not just anyone from somewhere. So you can be a good speaker or be good, but still if you don't have the subject knowledge for some subjects, it's really difficult to convey the message correctly. So that will be done, the recording is done, editing, and that will be done in-house at the institution or where we do the recordings. But the content writers, so like our colleagues here, they would like to hear and the final product and say, I agree. Because remember, after the content writer, unless the program developer is sending that script back to them, if there's no changes what's really been recommended on the script so much, they will not really see. They will want to see the final product and even maybe come up with something, but here they didn't. At least we had some cases now that we did the recordings and we sent it out to the content, the subject program developer, but especially in the case of our foreign languages and Africa, the European languages and African languages, program developer doesn't know the language. So the best person to be able to sign it off to the program developer will be the content writer.
Yeah, that was my question. What happens if the content writer does not, you are saying that it's important that they agree and basically sign off. Yes, this is what I had in mind. What if they don't agree?
Then changes need to be made. If they
So
identify the mistakes.
It goes back to where? To here?
If it's just on editing, it goes back there. If it was a problem that the script editor has went and changed things or recommended changes, but what I'm saying is that the coordination has been done by in our case now, by the program developer. Between the different stages,
Yeah.
if the content writer submit the scripts to the PD, The PD send it to the content editor.
Yeah.
When it comes back with comments for changes, recommendations, then the program developer will then send it back to the content writer. So through the process, you are a little bit involved. But say, content writer write a script, content editor, sometimes they don't do their job, they just accept it. They don't really look at the work. Goes to the script editor, you see somewhere, no, this statement should rather read like this, and so on. This is now a biology or life science. It goes to the language editor, and then it comes back to, and it's been recorded, and we realize, but this is not the way that we speak, because you also have subject terminologies that a language editor and a script editor, the way you change, you must make sure that you stick within that subject terminology, way of saying things. That is what I've learned also from the colleagues here. So that is basically, maybe it sounds like a long process, but it is the way that we try to ensure quality, because remember, here we are now on YouTube. Our radio lessons, video lessons. On Monday, we have critiqued some of our lessons. I don't think it's poor, but those lessons have problems. Although it will still contribute to learning, but I mean, so that process is our way of quality assurance, to make sure that at least within our ability, we try to put the best quality out there.
Thank you, Mims. Yes. So it makes a lot of sense, and actually well done to Namcol for keeping the power in the script writers, the content writers' hands, because this does not happen everywhere. It really is a privilege for you to write the content and then to be the one at the end to say, yes, I agree, or this is not what I wanted. So it is very important, and it's empowering to the content writers to do that. And it keeps you on your toes, because you know at the end of the day it goes through everything. And what a compliment to you when you listen to it at the end of the day again, to see they all got it along the line. They did not change it much. It's they understood, they got me, and it goes.
Maybe I can add the Lynette. In all cases, most of the time, we would also make use of the content writer to be the narrator, if that person is available, or the presenter of his own lessons.
Yeah.
Because
That's
then we are
excellent
sure
idea.
this is this person that wrote something on AS level, it's teaching the subject, really knowledgeable, talking from experience, that voice, inflection, intonation and stuff will come out better from such a person than from a normal speaker. I can speak a lot, I can speak hard, I can speak clear, but I might not be able to speak with the necessary understanding when we do that recording. So most of the time, we also make use of the content writers or the subject, either content writer or content editor, based on the availability and the quality of their voices, to do the recordings themselves.
Very good. Again, really well thought out, because you as the content writer, you are the best one to put that heart, or to ensure that that heart is in your script right through. Yeah, so it's very good that you can involve them throughout, but also in the process develop them more into other areas, because you, much as you start out being a writer, you then also see what is involved in recording, what is involved in sound and the editing and so on, because you see what works and what does not work. So it develops you as a professional as well. So, well, that's very good. And also, it's good for Namcol producing the programs, because you save on so many experts having to call in different people. If one person becomes multi-skilled, and in the end you have all the writers becoming also able to do their own recording and do the good narration and put in those voice inflections and everything. Yeah. And yeah, if they have also the training with video scripts to do their own graphics. Because it all takes time, and it's, yeah, if you can just, at the end of the day, be the one to supervise rather than having to do it all. Because I think Mims particularly is really overworked, and probably Audrey as well. So it's a lot of things that they are doing at the moment that could have been done by others, like the script writers. Okay. I think those years we did it with the video scripts, you did the graphics as well. Do they not do the graphics themselves? On PowerPoint?
Yeah, usually everything is
done by them.
After this training session, everything is on the table of each subject program developer.
Okay.
Even the scouting the choosing of the presenters or the actors or whatever, all the artifacts that's needed or the props that you need for video, between the writer need to provide for those things. So between the writer and the program developer, they will put all those things together. All of it will be given either to the video editor, the one that's going to do the video editing, when it comes to putting the lessons together. So
are you saying the script writer provides the sounds?
No, the script writer, like in the audio, like we talked about the audio, they can do their own sounds, depending on what they do, or the imaging, if you talk about the graphics for videos, they provide, or they tell you what they need. It's then in the hands of the subject program developer to ensure that graphics is available for when the videos is now being edited and so.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes we will not go out, like I explained to you, one of the colleagues yesterday. If I need a cartoon, Namcol need to provide the cartoon. Yeah, we can appoint someone to draw the cartoon for us, and we pay. But the point is we need to provide for the one that's going to the video producers or editors that's going to do this.
Yeah, and often in many cases the person who wants a cartoon probably knows someone who can do this. So can arrange with them or with your permission scout them.
Yeah, it is just important that the writers need to be very clear with their instruction on what they want. If it's not real life recordings that can be done, they need to be very much clear on what it is that they want.
Can they not film it on their phones? Is there a possibility like that? I mean, maybe they obviously have a scenario.
When it includes filming, yeah, we have a team, and we also outsource the production.
But is it hard? Is it how cumbersome is it to say I want this situation like this, and the filming crew will just go out and do it? Is it easy?
Usually, the writers will be, or the program developer is part of the whole filming part.
Okay.
But maybe I have Mr. Majumi, can you guide us? Can we say for video scripts or for video production that teachers can make recordings on their phones and you use it in the video editing or included? What do you think?
Really, it would actually depend on the quality of what the recording is, because you also want to have a certain consistency in whatever it is that you're recording. You don't want to insert certain pieces that are not consistent. So it would really depend, and also you want to have content that is produced a certain way. So if we do it in the studio, for example, then the quality of the audio is consistent, the quality of the video is consistent, and sometimes also the person doing the recording is also acting as a script supervisor, so to speak. So the person who's doing the presentation may miss certain things, but just having that second person can make sure that commas are where they should be, as they're speaking, to make sure that they're not speaking too fast, those kind of things.
So that the people, as they are speaking, they're not leaving out words, or
Yes.
because you are following the script.
Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult to review or supervise a script if you're the one who is reading it. But if you have an external person who is supervising as you are presenting, they can sometimes catch things that the presenter is not able to catch, even if the presenter is the one who wrote the script.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good. So that is the person who is doing the editing, who is probably also doing the recording and the filming.
Yes.
Yeah. So meaning that, let's say you are doing the filming, you are following the script, but then also Claude, when he's editing, is also following the script.
Yes. Yes. So at the end of the day, you will have various levels of
Checks.
Content checking and content quality checks.
Yeah.
By the time it gets to the program developer, it's already been checked several times.
Yeah.
So whatever mistakes are there are very minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So all these steps are also checks that are built into the system to ensure good quality at the end. Okay. That's good. So and in that sense, as you say, it may look like a long line, but it all ensures that the quality is has been through not only 2 pairs of eyes, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6, 7 pairs of eyes at the end of the day.
All of it, the speed in which we finish it and get it done, is our colleague sitting here. Is the content writer that determined it.
How long does it spend with the rest of them?
Okay, if the content writer is submitting the 5 lessons, if I talk about myself, with those 5 radio scripts or video scripts, I can finish content reviewing it within a day. Get it in the afternoon, because I'm just checking on the content correctness, the factual correctness, the accuracy of the content. It will now take a bit longer for the script editor. And the language editor now need to read through and see that there's no language, grammar, punctuation, misspelling. The recording and the editing takes a bit of time.
Let's see how long it takes to finish a series, shall we? Just for planning's sake. So how long is realistic for them to write, to complete one script? How long does it take you to complete one script? Not very long. It takes very long.
Yeah.
Shall we say a week per script?
Maybe 2 days, 3 days
3 days on a
per
script.
script.
Okay.
Or,
Let's say,
what do
yeah?
you say, colleagues?
Yeah. Yeah. What are the online people saying? How long does it take? They can also tell us how long they take.
I think it also, oh no, I'm speaking too much as well. I think it also depends on how you write a script, your format. What do you call it now? Are you going to do a dialogue type of thing that you want to bring in there and you bring in a lot? Are you going to do a presentation and making use of a lot of sounds? So you just write your content and you select your sounds, and I think that will take a bit shorter time for me to write a monologue, presenter. Then it will take me to write a script in dialogue for radio. Because now I need to think a lot that it also doesn't sound like not natural. One person respond to the other. I need to make sure, how do we sound? How do I now present this person? Whereas it's just the presenter, and I have all this, okay, the old term you taught us, we talked about Vox Pops for the sounds that we bring in, all these expert voices, and then you just comment. And then that one will take a bit less time to prepare than a more drama type of thing.
Yeah, thank you. Let's talk about Vox Pops. The different sounds that we have in the program, of course, there's the narrator. The narrator very often takes over the whole thing. We just hear this person's voice all the time. We're trying to move away from that. Then we have the voices of the experts. Experts are those with personal or professional experience. So this person, Risto, you want to say something? Okay.
Okay. I want to talk about the time of, let me say, writing.
Okay, just freeze. Okay. Let me quickly finish the different voices, then we go to that. Okay. So the different types of voices, then we have the experts. The experts, really, that's where you have to, it is the most important thing of the script, is to try to think, where does this apply in real life? So who is my expert? Who is the person with experience about this thing? And it doesn't have to be a high person in government there. It can be the person who is in these offices or in some other office that you know who is doing this work. That person wants to bring across his or her knowledge. They will gladly give, and it doesn't need to take much of their time. 5 minutes is long. We don't even want 5 minutes. You really need just, let's say, 2 minutes at the end of the day when it's edited. Okay, so it doesn't need to be long, but it improves the quality of your script very, very much. So the examples from real life is important. That you could Google if you have to, and then those practical activities or practical experience from the expert, that makes it really good. And then we go also to the Vox Pops. Vox Pops is a French word. It looks like this. Nothing to do with fish parts. Vox is a Latin word for sound, and pop is just like a burst, let's say. Okay, so it's like a burst of sound. It's not a whole long rambling on. It is really just, I don't agree. That's terrible. Something like that. It livens up the sound, whether it's the same on screen or on radio. It's the same. You can hear that is a person with a real experience. Okay, and their names are not even important. You don't use their names. Why? They are not an expert. They just talk as on behalf of the people. They are just giving one side of the story. You can have one saying, I absolutely agree, and another Vox Pop that says, no, it's absolutely true. And both of them add to the value of your script, because there are different sides to the story, to a thing. So there is your examples, there is the narrator, there is the examples, which the narrator can have. or you can have in role play. Then you have your activities with your experts. So that is another voice, or few voices, and the Vox Pop. Vox Pop is where you as the writer, you know that some people feel like this and some people feel like that. So that is where, if you can go together with the camera person, you can go there until you find maybe, normally when you go out for Vox Pops, you get maybe 4 things that people say, and hopefully you can use 2 or 3 of them, okay? Not really 1, although if it really fits, but Vox Pops are very nice. People like to give them, they like to listen to them as well, and they really add, okay? I want to give Risto a chance to talk to us about the time frame for the videos, and then we'll go back.
There's another comment.
Oh, you want to give a comment?
Yeah.
Also
Marianina, it also depends on what you write. A lesson on essay writing will take much shorter than writing an actual small drama, where you have to come up with your own ideas and be more creative.
That's true, and the thing is that people need guidance. They really need guidance. So if you have a lesson on drama writing, of course you have to give examples. So yes, it's never good to read a drama because it is just one drama. And it helps, it makes people to think this is the only way. So it becomes really a skill to give a diversity of examples to help people. Risto? Risto have now another conversation going. Okay, we are looking at the time frame for developing the scripts. Somebody was suggesting 3 days per script. I think that is what Risto wants to talk about as well.
Okay. I just wanted to answer the question you asked. How long will it take for
writing a script?
Writing script, whether video or radio? With a little bit of experience, my first script that I wrote was for radio. Took me a week.
Yeah.
One script, it took me a week.
Yep.
Why? I know the content, I know the subject, but I had no idea what I was going to write. And the second one took me 3 days. I was just drafting. You remember? Okay, I remember very well on Monday. And say, the first one is always a draft. See, for me, I was just drafting. I came to Namcol, and that time we ain't supposed even to be in contact because COVID was hectic that time. Now you call, you are not getting the information that you want. You just have a template. Okay, and the last one, my last one took me an hour.
Wow.
And now,
35 minutes.
I came in, unfortunately, or I was unfortunate, or it was good for me. I have to coordinate those. I have to call in the presenters. I have to be in studio for the first time. Now I'm looking at the presenters, narrating those scripts that I wrote, and I picked up a lot of mistakes. Now I want them to stop and say, no, can I fix it before you see? And now with this, it's the same thing with video. I myself, I think I narrated some, and I can tell, and I learned a lot from Claude, and I started even telling him what to do, and he's the one who taught me, because if he's not around, I can make it happen. When you have new voices, and we have been learning on the job, if new people coming, but it's always difficult because you find a teacher, she's good on the chalkboard, but the voice is not for radio, for instance. She's good on the chalkboard, but she's camera shy or mic shy. And the radio is a voice that expresses everything. You might know the content, but you can't express it with your voice. So I have learned all these things, but now if I have to write a script, it will take me less than 20 minutes.
Ooh, that's too less.
It's not less, putting everything together, because I know what is needed for radio and I know what is needed for video. I was on camera with my own scripts, but I don't understand it. And it's true. Because I was just writing because I have the time frame is there, you need to finish when. But now these scripts of mine, they found me in the office from the editor coming back to me, I want to edit them again. And I did that. Because by that time, I was already going in the studio. I know where people make mistake. I know what is good for video or radio, all those things. But with this training now, it's just for fuel on fire.
That's good.
Thank you.
So if you have to recommend, how long should people take to finish their scripts?
Okay. Finishing the script, it depends on whether that person is employed, is just doing it part-time, or is doing it full-time. Because if you go to work 8 to 5, you only get time in the night. But in the night you might come, sit for 20 minutes, you have a small baby's coming, those challenges. But at least for 5 scripts, let's give it a week for the 8 to 5 people.
Okay.
Yes.
We also want our online people to commit. So we have here, we are auctioning the time for scripts, and so far we have an offer of 5 days for 5 scripts. You are saying 5 days for 5 scripts? Drafting. Okay. Vissing, do you have the mic?
Yeah, my personal view and assessment is that, a day or the 20 seconds for Mr. Risto, he is a genius. One would say that. But realistically, me being so meticulous and trying to get the best out of me, because that script is an ambassador of Vesevete. It tells the world what Vesevete is capable of. If it's a mess, then I'm done. So 3, I will concur with Ms. Renate, because what I've went through, when you write, you first start writing. Then later, when you look at what you wrote, you realize that, this is not closer to AS level. And then that's how it goes. I think through those 3 days, you will be able to come up with something worth that level or worth the standard of the level at which you are developing the lesson. So I think the 3 days to 4 days of Ms. Renate will not do harm if we want quality and efficiency. Per script, yes. that's my input. Mr. Risto, you can have your mic. Oh, Mr. Shu.
Just to add to that, I think this number of days will be determined by the expertise of the script writers. We are using some people is that they are very first time, and we cannot expect them to write a script within 3 days. But with time, they will improve on the days. So there will be a reduction in the number of days. I think, to be quite friendly and honest, I think maybe one script, 3 to 4 days, or 5 even. It depends, because I tried even AS level last year to write my accounting script, but it took some days. It's not a matter of just you get a piece of paper and you just start writing, because we have to incorporate all these things we have learned these 2 days. And
So
must
you
get
are saying
resources.
inexperienced writers, 5 days.
Inexperienced, at least 5 days. For a script, yeah. Yeah. Per script, ne? Huh?
I just want to caution the colleagues, if you are not just getting this and you're doing it, and you don't have timelines, and you don't need to meet a target, then you can relax. But my experience is also, I give you 5 days to complete the script, and you take 2 weeks. Not because you're struggling with the script, because you just start writing it today. You must submit it tomorrow. We have due dates. We have due dates, we have targets, and it's a target in an agreement with the Ministry of Education that we need to deliver. And all our teachers is always urging us, we need the resources for AS level. Our learners need resources. So colleagues, we must commit. And taking 5 days to do one script is too much. You can draft today. You can take 2 days and build your draft for your 5 lessons. Where would I do this? I would like to do this. I would like to do this. A second day you come and you start populating your script, improve on it. And you will need your content editor's view there. You will start and go and change again. So if the writer is sitting 5 days per script, 20 days. Now it must go to the content editor. Now it must go to, it takes half a year before we finish one subject's radio. It's just not possible. We can just not work, not if we work against, it's not a project that, I'm not talking about this specific project, but in general. One will take the time that you need, but if you work towards a deadline, we also need to consider that. And we have deadlines for us. We have deadlines that was deadlines for the teams to deliver, deadlines for us to deliver to the ministry, deadlines of the broadcasting companies that need to be met. Going to have a meeting tomorrow, on Friday or tomorrow, with One Africa, and we have the demand from the general public, the teachers and learners, for this AS level resources is like urgent. So I would like colleagues not to think that we can wait until next year. We cannot. Not with the radio and the video. Especially radio is the widest reach one at this stage.
Thank you, Mims. Earlier years, I remember you used to start with writing. There would be a course somewhere, something like August, and then after that people would start writing, and they would essentially, they get to that crunch in December, and at the end of December everything had to be edited, I remember, which means the new year opened and it could just be finished for March, something like that. That is ideal, and that way you would have had more time to do it. So you are suggesting what, 3 days per script max? Yeah? Okay. We have another contribution.
Okay, I second what Mims is saying, 3 days, but I don't know if it's for everyone here, but as we are new and we are content e-learning developers, so for these subjects that are, the 5 scripts that we need to write, we don't even have the content yet. We have to research the content, and we don't have the textbook, especially for arts and design. So first we are gonna have to do the content, like paraphrase it into AS level, bring it down, and then start writing the scripts.
That challenge, Jeffro, that you sought with a program developer. We don't write the textbook, we work with the syllabus, okay?
So where do you get the content from? The syllabus writer? The textbooks? Where are the textbooks?
No, we work on the syllabus.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to rewrite the textbooks in our radio lessons or video lessons.
Yeah. So
So
why
we
does
will
she not
use
have-
your, that is what I'm saying. They work with the program developer.
Okay.
The resources that we will need,
Yeah.
that's what the program developer. Yeah.
So the
they will have a
content is with
meeting.
them.
They will see to it that they source provide the
Content
people
writer.
with what they need.
Okay. So the content writer gets the information, the content from the PD.
The PD will assist to get whatever you need, yeah.
Basically.
Yes, I hear the contributions, and I still stand on the 3 to 4 days. However, this is just my own analysis and humble request, because it will be much better. I don't know how the agency came up, but for us to kill time or to finish things on time.
Yeah.
If Namcol with the ministry can work together to get these developers at places like NIET, whereby these people are working in isolation, they are focused on this project, and that with the minimum days that you are requesting for, they can finish the task at hand. Then they go back, just like we do when we are developing textbooks and everything. That will be very simple and easy for the teachers and individuals that are attached to what Mr. Risto has been saying. Then he's not committed to the 5 o'clock thing. He will be at NIET, submission dates, and then they will be follow-up. Each day you will present what you have developed thus far. So that's my request, if they can take it up also in the near future. Thanks.
So the problem that, of course, we've had this year, end of last year, was the issue of rewriting of exams. Yeah. So you guys, you had to probably do more exam papers, and then you had to wait for the learners to write and then mark them. So all of that really stole a lot of your time. Because actually from my experience, I think it is realistic for a new writer to take 5 days per script. And earlier years, we've had that time because, as I say, they had the training and then they could do it and they knew that at the time. It is also a reality, as Mims is saying, that if people know they have until end of November, then they do it. They wait for November, because there's always something, we know, there's always something in the way as well. But what Mims is also saying is that there is an urgency now. The urgency now is that there are those teachers who desperately need those resources. And there are customers, clients, as she says, ready to broadcast them. So there is right now a market, and if we don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. Namcol is the right people. We have always been at the forefront. You have an opportunity to stay there. So maybe I think before we make a decision, I think there were more contributions there. Somebody else wanted to say something, right?
At least for the scriptwriter to have that learner book of the textbook as a reference. It's a must. That should be a point of departure. At least you must have that guideline. Before you start sourcing from somewhere else, the guideline, the learner books must be there.
That seems reasonable. You cannot start writing until you have the resource.
Yeah.
So what is the problem with the resources?
I just said to the colleagues, the program developer will provide them with the resources they need.
They are there, they exist.
If there is no textbook in the market, then you work with your syllabus. So for all the subjects, the normal subjects that we taught, like the ones that Namcol is offering, the accounting, the what, and all those, I know that we have developed the AS level learner books that we have. So we provide our writers. The subjects they are going to work with that she's now a bit worried about is design and technology and arts and design, where we are not sure whether there are books, but Namcol is not having those books. So we, as the program developer responsible, will assist you to get the resources. But where will the content writer for accounting get a book? From Mr. Chirutwe. Where will the chemistry and physics get the textbook? From Mrs. Bolton. Where the books are available, they will get it from there. But where there's no books, even in the market maybe, it's not yet developed, then we work from the syllabus.
Is there enough information from the syllabus, and then they
No,
Google
to
from
guide
there?
us on what to put in there.
Can I, so us four here, we are content developers, right?
Yeah.
We are not qualified teachers, nor do we know anything about these subjects. So, yeah, exactly. So working from just the syllabus, as they keep on mentioning, we have to go back and Google. Google is broad. We don't even know if we are writing or putting in the correct information. We don't know if it's for grade 8. We don't know if it's for grade 12. We don't know if it's for AS. All I know is I got it from Google. I'm going to get it. Syllabus says this. What's a natural resource? I'm going to put it in, and that's it. So how do you want to offer quality content when we ourselves don't know what the content is?
To what extent, I'm just wondering, to what extent, Mims, does Namcol cooperate with NTA, say? Because they also do development of manuals, training manuals.
We have good cooperation with NTA, and that's what I'm saying to the colleagues to be with us. We have a good collaboration with NTA. Our TVET people are offering the NTA courses. That's why I've been saying to the two ladies, the program developer will assist them if there's no textbook available. In the market, Namcol is not having a design and technology and an arts and design book. We don't have. So I said the program developer will assist. So, on what will guide you, even if it's NTA books, still, you will need to use your syllabus to see the level on which you have to address that content. Even for us that's having textbooks, you will still look at your syllabus to see what the syllabus assessment objectives require and how you will use that content in the textbook to write a radio lesson so that it meets the assessment objectives. That is why, and the syllabus objectives.
What about NIET? To what extent does NIET develop, or do they just
NIET coordinated
provide?
development. NIET is for the textbooks approvals. The NIET college is online. Mrs. Marianina, you might be able to assist us with whether there is already an arts and design textbook available in the market that was approved by NEET. Maybe Mrs. Maria Nina can come up if she's still online. And also from this side, we can hear from NEET if there's textbooks available. And that's where we can ask. So that's why I'm saying it's not an issue, not for the training.
Okay, so what we are saying is that there is content, Namibian content, that is contributed by that is available from the program developer, that is based on the syllabus, that and is also being developed by NTA and also by NEET potentially, and it all will be provided through the PD, right? So the program developer will take responsibility for providing you as the content writer with enough information that you need. Whether they get it from NEET, from NTA, and they will give you guidance so that we do not end up with the very last option of Googling. We really would not like to Google our content. I understand it, but let the Googled content be approved by the PDs. Yeah. Or if you're struggling and you want to save time, because just like you are the one responsible that your listener and your viewer must understand it like a 2-year-old, that you don't get that accusation as well. You help the PD by saying, I found this on Google, can I use this? Okay. So that the PD is the one approving it, because it's like this woman who said, oh, this woman said, I am obedient to my husband, because if something goes wrong, I will say, he said it's okay. It's a bit like the PD is the one who actually has to, on behalf of Namcol, put that stuff on the air. So they are the ones who have to provide and who have to approve and who have to assist you and are available there to do it. Maria Nina says, as AS level teachers are supposed to be experts, and should be able to develop lessons. A subject such as art and design is a broad subject that's difficult to write a book on all the different topics. And yet, if you teach it, there must be a teaching resource.
Okay. Mrs. Maria Nina is the education officer at NEET, responsible for arts and design, that integrated performing arts, that type of things. Okay. No? We have education officers. There is no boundaries that will hinder any program developer or anyone from Namcol to make connection with our education officers, to make connection with NEET colleagues, and get the resources that is available, that they might have available, or get guidance. NEET is not developing books. NEET is institutions like Namcol and the publishers are writing the books and submit it to NEET, and then NEET will do the evaluation of these books, and then they will approve it to be used in the schools. So, but the Namcol, NEET will also have resources. So if I'm responsible for coordinating
arts and design,
say for example entrepreneurship,
okay,
and I don't have an entrepreneurship thing, the first person I'm looking at to help me, to assist me, is looking at an education officer responsible for that subject. What resources do you have available to guide me with, to help me? There's nothing that hinders us to connect with our colleagues in NEET or the Ministry of Education. So I will just like to conclude. Let's leave this discussion for outside the training to sort out our fears, and just continue with the rest that we do here.
Okay, so what we are what we are saying is there's content available also from the Ministry of Education, and the writers turn to the PDs to say, please help me, I'm struggling with information about what, but then to present maybe what you found for them to approve. Because otherwise, if you write something and they don't approve, then your script is really delayed. So it's good to make sure that you get the information through the PD to start writing, so that it can be, when it gets to that stage and they say, but where do you get this information from? You got it from the daddy. You got it from the PD, right? Okay. So, can we try for 3 days? Yeah, we try. This means we're back to 3 weeks for 5 scripts. 3 times 5? No, 2 weeks, a bit more. 2 weeks. So I think the cue I got here was that 3 weeks is too much. So 3 days for 5 scripts, a series of 5 scripts would mean that you have 15 days. 15 days is 3 weeks if you work Monday to Friday. 5. That means they have to work in the weekends as well.
Yes, because whenever I do something extra outside my work,
You do it after
you
hours.
do it after hours, you do it over the weekend. Because
Okay.
remember, you get paid at your work and you get paid for Namcol.
As well,
If
separately.
if I've been appointed to do some additional work, I do my after hours, I do my private time. I use not my employer's time when I'm supposed to teach
Yeah.
to do my work. So where the best time to work is over the weekend.
Okay, Renate?
What about the people doing both video and radio?
I think it's we are saying for 5 scripts, 15 days. So whether it's radio or video. Sorry? So if it's 10, if you have to write 10 scripts, it's going to be 30 days. I think it is if you could do it in a shorter time, you get your money earlier. Let that be a motivation. But I think it is quite realistic, the time. But then really it cannot, then you see, it is as they are saying, if it's for 10 days, but then maybe we should try to avoid for this year, when it's the time is such a problem, maybe we should try and avoid one person writing more than 5 scripts.
I think at that time we need to avoid, because for a person to write more than one subject, and even for all of us, all the years.
They can't hear. Please say it again in the mic. No, but it's important because everybody is having these issues.
Yeah, but we have other people also attending the training. That's
That
not part of the
of this
project.
discussion.
Yeah. The problem lies here. I would advise the colleagues, if you have been appointed for more than one subject, or you've been offered to be a content writer for more than one subject, take the one you know you will do the best. Give the other back. Yeah, let me get somebody else. I cannot give you 2 subjects that don't know anything about. That's what the colleague is saying. I don't know whether my understanding is correct. They don't know the subject, and now they have 2. And they have to do radio and video, and they do online content development. No, they will never be able to meet any of these deadlines, even before the end of the year. So that is also not realistic for us to expect that from them. It's better for me to say we couldn't find someone to do
a radio lesson for entrepreneurship. Then to appoint someone and now be in the stress of that person, it just have too much to do, they just cannot meet the deadline.
Thank you. Okay. Audrey, just get the mic.
I don't know if colleagues can remember, that's now the PDs that I'm talking to. Right at the beginning when we started with this AS development, we were dividing the subjects in phases. We had phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And according to those phases are the due dates for the radio and the video and the notes master also. So I would suggest, according to the due dates, it looks as if the radio is the first priority and then the video. So the phases have certain due dates. It depends where your subject is falling, in which phase it's falling. I will try. It's difficult to read now all those subjects. Okay, must I read it now?
No, just give us the ultimate due date for radio and then for video.
Must I read it?
If it's
Okay.
possible.
Oh, what I can do, let me put this in a table form, and then by the afternoon we can maybe show it.
Okay.
Before we disperse for the day.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that would help. There's a comment from Maria Nina. She says, Namcol can assist art and design teachers by giving them guidance on the type and quality of artworks expected at this level. So that, I suppose, could come from the syllabus? No? Okay. All right. So we conclude then this discussion by saying it looks as though it will take 3 days per script, whether it's video or radio. All days included, meaning that if you are doing a series of 5 scripts, starting with radio, it has to take you 15 days, meaning that you have to finish from the day that you get it. It has to be done 15 days later. The PD will tell you the date when it is expected back, okay? And yeah, so from there it goes to the content editor. She is saying it takes just 1 day with the content editor to finish the whole, to go through the whole series, meaning that is now day 16. The script editor takes a little bit of time as well. Esther?
I wanted to find out the order.
Is it?
I thought it was proposed that then the script will come from the content writer. It comes to the PD. Then it from the writer.
Yeah.
Then it comes to the PD.
Yeah. PD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, if the PD is happy with it, should it not rather go to the script editor before it goes to the content editor? From my personal experience, when it goes to the script editor before the content editor, the script editor adds a couple of things, and those things needs to be content edited. So it should go together with everything from the writer and what the script editor has added to the content editor. I don't know if others feel the same way, but from the experience, that is how I want my scripts to go.
It's true that the script editor, it is sometimes a total remake.
Yes.
It's true.
Script editors also do content editing. No. What are they editing then? Because the content editor is just for content only. Now I'm hearing that the script editor is also making some changes on the content. How? He's not a content expert. He's not a subject expert. How can she make some changes? I don't think there will be major changes. Maybe minor, maybe, but not. That's why I will propose content writer, PD, content editor, and then to the script editor.
You are suggesting content to writer
PD,
to content editor
PD,
to PD.
Writer, PD,
Writer, PD, content
editor, and script editor.
Yeah, I think it's for the PDs to decide which route that will goes. For me, I've got problems. I want to see if my lesson, my script that I've written yesterday is correct. So this is for me not really relevant now to talk about. The PDs can sort that thing out.
Okay. All right. Let me
We've
just
got
say
more
from
problems,
yeah.
bigger problems than that for now.
Yeah. From the script editor's point of view, the script editor is trying, by all means, to keep the content. But the change come into the presentation, with the presentation of the content. And that is why they want to make sure that when it goes back to the content editor, it still has that essence and feeling of the content. That the script editor has not taken away too much of the content. The script editor looks at very much the language, the grammar and the spelling. But also, in all the things that I'm telling you and going to tell you after lunch about script writing, those are the things that the script editor is doing. The script editor is simplifying, is making it shorter. And in doing that, they are sort of interpreting. They are looking at, you said all this stuff about the content. Now, I'm taking all that and I'm trying to make it shorter, more condensed, simpler. I know that there are some terms that the content editor would then think, no, she said comprehend, she changed it to understand or to get it. But I really wanted the learners to go back to the concept of comprehend. I want them to know and to retain that word or those terms. So that is why I can understand that the content editor wants to make sure that it has the look and feel still of the educational program. Because remember, I'm a butcher. I make it shorter, I make it simpler, I cut as much as possible. I do. I want to make it simple. I want to make it short. I'm aware of, I want sounds there. I don't want words. So I'm chopping a lot. So it's good if it goes from me, from the script editor, it goes back to the content editor so that they make sure it is still an educational video program. Because me, I'm entertaining. And you guys, you want to educate. Okay, so that is the reasoning behind that. But then it goes back to a person who is similar to the script editor, which is the language editor. And then it's ready for execution. Okay, so in conclusion then, from here the script, the script editor, I just wanted to say, I'm always thinking I work I work hard, I work fast, but in reality, it takes a day per script. I can try, but realistically, my experience is that it takes a day per script at the shortest. So that adds another to for one series that is 15 days, it's day 16, plus again 5 days. So plus 1 day, plus 5 there, plus 1 day, and then it's at the editing. Okay, how long does it take you to do the editing?
The recording and the editing, what is 16 do?
1 per day? More?
No, production can be done, the recording can be done, sometimes even 10 lessons
per day.
Recording.
Oh,
the
okay.
editing is taking, I cannot speak for God. I think for 5 lessons it's about, let's say 2 to 3 days.
For 5 lessons, for a series, it's 3 days.
For a series of, for the recording, I know that they can go up to minimum 10 lessons. So that means 2 series per day.
Uh-huh.
Let me stick to 10 because there's also other things in the studio that they have responsibilities for recording.
Okay, so we can say 1 day for a series of 5 scripts.
Maybe 2 series. 1 day for 2 series. If everything is there.
Meaning for that per series it's a half day.
Yeah.
Okay.
The editing of 5 lessons, here I'm not sure. Let's say for per series 3 days? No, 2 days for 5 lessons.
Okay, so altogether, radio and video,
For
we are
5
talking
it
about
must
3
be
days.
5 days or 3 days.
5 days.
Somewhere.
5 days.
Say for...
So with video it will take longer, with radio it takes shorter. So let's say 3. Yeah. So we are adding the 3 days for editing and recording of that in average, on average. And then it goes back to the PD and you have like half a day for all of them, or a day?
What is it now?
To quality control all 5
Esther?
those.
How long? Quality control of the radio?
Marsh, do you want to?
Lessons? But the shooting. It's okay. The quality review, it's like 5 lessons can be reviewed by 1 day. Colleagues, how long did you take for radio? For radio.
Yeah, and you discuss them. So for a series, whether radio or video, we can say 1 day for quality control. And you send it back. Yeah. Okay, so that adds.
So
a
the
day.
production of video, give or take, for series, and the editing, it's 5 days. The recording, the filming, for video.
Video is 5
Video,
days.
It's 5 days. Filming, editing, 5 days.
5 days and another 5 days. 5 days for filming, 5 days again for video editing.
Filming for 1 day for filming?
For all 5?
Yes.
Okay.
And then say 1 to 2 and about...
Let's say 1 day for filming.
Yeah.
And the rest for editing.
Is how many?
5. 4. Then it's 5 days.
Okay.
So the production of the filming and the editing of the videos, in total 5 days per series.
So we have 15 days for writing, is 20 with the script editor, 21, 22 3, 4, 5, 6, 26, plus 1 day for quality controls, 27.
It's about a month to finish the production.
Yeah. It should take less than a month to produce it. Meaning, if we start on the 1st of February, everything is then dished out. They start. Then by, February has few days. Then we start on the 27th of January, which is like tomorrow. Start writing, meaning that by end of February, it's all written. It's all written.
Radio should be done end of February.
Yeah.
For phase 1.
Okay. Okay. Everything written.
All the recordings must be done end of March.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks a bit better. We understand the process. We as content writers are taking the most time. So let's use it wisely and write fast. Okay? And as I said, that is we are using a template now. So the hardest work is to sync up the examples, to find the little jokes, and to get the activities, especially activities. The rest is just filling in of little bits. So it's not as hard as it looks. Okay? Let's go have lunch. Let's see you at 2. Okay. What does that mean? Those.
That ball is hacker type of English.
Hacker.
Legal people.
Ah. The note master. Who's the note master?
No, that is nothing.
Colleagues, this is not a platform for Notes Master. This is just radio, video training, talking.
Okay. Yeah.